the torture really coming from inside the artist, or is it circumstances that don't allow you to have the time and space to make?
Hey, Khadijah, it is a pleasure to have you here with us at Baldwin & Co. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Awesome, awesome. You are a writer, editor, professor, visual artist, disabled veteran. What is it like, just off the top of my head, existing with all those different roles and identities as one human, right? Ultimately, I mean, I would assume you have to be like multiple humans to kind of keep that thing going. But what is it like existing in all those different identities as yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it can be exhausting, as you might imagine. But I think, we don't have a choice as to what we're born into in terms of race or gender. But I think that I have the opportunity with the privileges that I have now, because I pushed through a lot of negativity, to be a face of someone who can thrive in that multiplicity.
Yeah.
And I like myself.
Yeah.
I like being unique. I like saying what's on my mind, and showing up in spaces without having to conform.
Absolutely.
Can take practice, and it can take fortitude. It can take a certain level of grace for yourself and others, and patience.
Absolutely.
But not much of a choice there, is
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, when I interview people, one cool thing that happens with like people who are highly intelligent is they generally usually like look up in the sky, and I like to think that that's because there's some higher power and dropping down whatever it is you're supposed to say. But I was looking in the sky when I was counting, because I also can't count. And so I was counting all the things that you do, and it made me think about W.E.B. Du Bois's theory of double consciousness. And I was like she's living like a quadruple consciousness, right? Balancing all those ideas and identities. And after I thought about that and the dissertation that I'm not finishing right now, I was like, what is that like for you? So, that was a wonderful answer, because those are a lot of things that I think probably pull from you in creative ways. Is there anything you think about when you kind of hear that?
Honestly, nobody has asked me what it's like to live with all of those identities.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever asked me that, to be honest.
I try to be the person that develops those type of questions.
And the way that it was said was so invitational, because the thing I usually would get is, how do you do it? Especially I have a son, he's grown now, but the single mom thing, and how do you do that? How do you not do it? I don't know. I certainly learned how to ask for help when I need it. And over this past couple of years with the pandemic and everything, and I had surgery at the end of 2022. So I had to really stand my ground in terms of how much rest I needed. How much work I could not do. And not be bullied into endangering myself in public space.
Have you read Trisha Hersey's book, Restless Resistance?
I read it in little pieces, and I follow her Instagram. That's where I heard about her first years and years ago. And it's a really hard thing to do. For Black women in particular, there's so much external pressure on us to take care of people, but who's taking care of us?
Absolutely, all of that. As I was reading it, I'm a creative myself, and just thinking about what it requires, right? In terms of, we were talking earlier about like a certain type of obsession, right? It's for some folks it's like or die, right? Or like don't sleep, or like,
or don't eat properly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
When you think about that, right? You think about like the call to. So someone today said, self-care is the direct opposite of self-sabotage. And so if you're not caring for yourself, you're working in the opposite direction. Like balancing that through line. How has that been for yourself as a creative as well?
It's not been easy.
It's
not been easy. I think I had a really huge perspective shift at the end of 2023. I was awarded a fellowship to the Civitella Ranieri Foundation, which is in Italy. It's in the Umbria region, which is like right in the middle. It's very country. Yeah, it's in a little town called Multiplicity, and you get to stay in a 500-year-old castle with other writers, artists, composers from all over the world.
Yeah.
And so, and they take care of the food,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't have to cook.
Okay.
They do my laundry. But that was a profound thing for me.
Yeah.
Because nobody had done my laundry since I was a kid, since my mom did my life.
Yeah.
And I'm almost 50.
Yeah.
So that sort of radical care, and they were so kind
Yeah.
the whole time,
Yeah.
was extremely profound for me. It's
Yeah.
life-changing, I think.
Could you like email me the application?
It's only by nomination. Oh yeah, it's only by nomination, and the fellows get 2 nominations after they finish their time every other year.
Okay.
So I'll put you on my list.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So you're a poet,
Yes.
right? And there, I want to talk about the title of one of your other books, but I'm gonna hold off on that. But thinking of what poetry, I'm a very novice poet, but I just know just the attention to detail that poetry has. How do you balance or navigate between artistic expression and the potential influence of your work on readers' political ideologies?
I'm a pretty ornery person.
Mhm.
Like I look quiet and mild, but I'm really actually not. I'm like super disobedient. So I don't typically censor myself. If I have something to say, I'm going to try to distill it in a way because I think poetry is containing 2 contrasting ideas in the same space.
Mhm.
And you're examining them as much as possible so that your reader, through images and sound and rhythm, can hold these contrasts in their mind and choose how they are going to interpret that.
Yeah.
So I think it's really okay to take a little bit of a risky stance in poetry sometimes, as long as you have integrity, as long as you've done research, if you're using research components, as long as you have the emotion driving it that feels authentic to you.
Mm.
So I don't know if they answered the question. I feel like I went on a sidetrack, but
That's what we're here for. We are
Yeah.
we're on those side roads.
Okay.
We're riding, right? Yeah. That you said 2 contrasting ideas existing.
in the same space.
That is a very good definition of the poetry I like,
Mhm.
right? Like I like poetry that has this in terms of the literary equivalent of that would be I call them earthquake books.
Mhm.
So I prefer an earthquake poem that shakes my core, whether it's in my thought process of romance or just in general. One thing I was just telling videographer, one of my favorite lines is they put wings on the ancestors and start calling them angels, but I still know with whom I speak. Something that just makes you go, right?
Mhm. So you're grounded and you're ascendant of the self. Yes.
Yeah. And so that's just, again, we're going to go on some side roads. When I heard that, I was thinking about that is what I like to see kind of show up.
Mhm.
You said it was Italy
Yeah.
where you was. You've been to some other magical places?
Oh, yes. My favorite place is the south of France, honestly.
Okay. All right.
So we've been there 3 or 4 times. My son's been with me all those times. And going back in May, I'm looking forward to going to Kenya in August.
All right.
So yeah, I love traveling. I've been to Italy before. I've been to the UK. I've been to Spain.
Okay. I just asked them to kind of set the stage. I know this is going to be transformative and powerful and palpable. What does success mean to you?
Oh, success. I think in terms of care, when I think about success now, and finding it in yourself and not with the weight of other people's expectations.
Yeah.
Success is being fed well, being well slept,
Okay.
and doing work that you enjoy doing that that serves the community in some way.
Yeah.
Whatever population that you are interested in being a part of, that you're a contributor to that in a way that feels meaningful to you.
Yeah. Did you always kind of hold that thought about success? Did it develop? I've been talking to some folks about it developing over time, shifting. I think I said throughout various decades, whatever decade of your life you're in. Did you always hold that definition of success? How did you, and if not, how did you grow into that definition?
That's probably a really long story, but the short answer is no.
Okay.
I grew up in South Central LA.
Okay.
So we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of opportunity. But because I lived in LA, there was a lot of art. I grew up in a house full of music. I was always reading. I learned to read when I was like 3. So there was always in my imagination something other than what I was living through, say when I was 8 or 9 and people were shooting outside. And then my sisters would come just in the closet. We have this big closet with our coloring books and have us in there playing, and they would play music so we wouldn't have to hear it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What, so like, you talked a little bit about resilience. I'm just thinking of like a resilient growth mindset, right? Do you have one of those, right? How do situations like that you grew up through, how did they add to that and or help nurture that and or necessitate a resilient growth mindset for you?
But I think for me, it's been imagination. Like I had to imagine otherwise. And education and reading were the pathways that I could find that worked for me. So that's where I put all of my energy, was in making sure that I had an education, that I finished school, and that survival wasn't my only goal.
Yeah.
Right. So survival is a baseline goal when you're in certain situations. And I've certainly had that when I was in the Navy. It was like getting through it. But I had in my mind always the fact that I would finish and go back to school, because that was the reason I joined in the first place.
Yeah.
So having something in mind that is beyond your circumstance so that you're not mired in it, I think helps to create resilience.
Absolutely. Okay. Now you said you were a little, you said honorary. Right?
Yes.
You said, like to kind of, not necessarily, did you say you like to change authority?
I think I naturally did that. I mean, if you laid out all of those identity markers, and just by existing, it's like if you are public with those existences, you're almost in conflict automatically.
Yeah. So could you share an example of a time when you challenged conventional notions of success within your Black community? What impact did that have on you?
That's a good question. I have to think about that for a second. It's been a long life.
Yeah, because I think I like that this kind of came